Carolina on the ride. Carolina on the ride.
Welcome once again, Panther Nation. Bill Mack here with another edition of the Panther Prowl. Glad you folks could join me as the game just a few minutes ago went final. Our Carolina Panthers once again bounced back from adversity, come up with a win to move to 6-3 over the Atlanta Falcons, 20-17. Thanks for joining me, folks. Glad you folks could enjoy this Panther Nation on another win for our Panthers to keep us in the hunt in the NFC South. So let's get right into the results of the game and get my thoughts on it as well. All right, up first we see the Atlanta Falcons, of course, lose the game 20-17. They moved to 4-4 overall. They are 3-2 away. Our beloved Panthers are now 6-3, 2-2 at home. Atlanta basically led with the passing yards. They had 355 yards to our 320. Well, no, excuse me. Total yards. This is total yards, not passing yards. Total yards 355. Our Panthers had 330 total yards. We led in time of possession, which was an important thing. 32 minutes, 52 seconds compared to 27 minutes and 27 minutes and 8 seconds. Sorry about that, Panther Nation. Atlanta, of course, led in passing, 302 to 129 by Cam. We, of course, is what pushed us over, which is what I've been literally saying the last few weeks. We've got to get that run going. Well, we just had the Rockets to our backs today, Panther Nation. We got 201 yards rushing compared to 53 yards total from rushing from the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons did also have the most penalties. They had 8 penalties for 70 yards as compared to the Panthers for 5 penalties for only 29 yards. So we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties as much, or the penalties that we did have really didn't hurt us as much. So great job there. Now let's get right into our individual stats as our beloved Panthers. Cam Newton, of course, was 13 of 24, 137 yards. Didn't have a passing touchdown or interception. Cam Newton, however, was our leading rusher. He had 9 carries, 86 yards, 1 rushing TD, which he did his Superman dive into the goal line and get the ball to cross before he lost control of it, doing his, of course, his Superman dive, and he gets the rushing touchdown. Of course, Christian McCaffrey had one of his best rushing games. I know he's getting a lot of slack. He's been viewed more as a receiver, but to see them basically run, and sorry about that, and to see them basically being able to rush the ball, today he did a good job. He got 15 rushes for 66 yards, and his very first rushing TD, which looked pretty good there early on. We did have some troubles early, though. We had a couple of sustainable drives where we were driving deep. Jay Stu, he had 11 carries, 21 yards, but he had 2 fumbles. He lost 2 fumbles back to back, and I was kind of getting very antsy on my Facebook page. I was posting like, just sit him down, let's see Cap. Let's see Cap run the ball. Because whenever you get turnovers, Panther Nation, especially in long, sustainable drives, it can really kill momentum. And to have them back to back, you were hearing some boos, and I basically I wasn't very supportive of Stu after I was like, just bench him and put Cap in and see what Cap can do. However, he did hold on to the ball for the next few carries that he did have. Leading receiver, of course, moved in the new number 1 receiver. That would be Devin Funchess, who I do have on my fantasy team. He had 5 catches for 86 yards. McCaffrey, of course, like I said, he had 5 catches for 28 yards. Leading that big old powerful Panther off defense is, of course, Mr. 59, Luke Kuechly himself. He had 11 tackles, 3 solo tackles. Kurt Coleman, of course, another that was missed. They came back last week, also had an impact. He had 10 tackles, 5 solos, and he had a tackle for loss. So those 2 noticeable absences within that defense, you see them showing up. Now, this is what we were talking about last week with the impact, not only leadership, but what they do on the field. And what you know, these are the two guys that basically showed up in the stat sheets that really shows us their presence when they're known on the defensive side. Mario Addison, of course, and Wes Horton both had a sack apiece to getting to Matt Ryan. Of course, Addison also had a tackle for loss. Mike Adams, of course, did get an interception. He did go down, and what was a scary moment, I was like, oh no, is he hurt? Because we don't need our secondary to be hurt. But he came back out of the game, and he had a smile on his face. So good thing there that Mike wasn't hurt. No more of that. And of course, Gano, it was solid in the game. 2 for 2 field goals, 2 for 2 extra points. Way to go there, Gano. That's what you got to do. You got to keep getting the kicks and the opportunities when you get those chances. Now let's head over to the other side. Atlanta Falcons, of course, led by Matt Ryan, were 24 for 38 attempts to completions, 313 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Freeman, of course, was only 11 carries, 46 yards. Julio had a very quiet 6 catches, 118 yards, and 1 pass in I think it was either the third or fourth quarter in the second half that he was all alone, and he got tripped up, and he missed a chance out on an open touchdown, which I blew a sigh of relief because he just got behind the defense, which didn't happen a whole lot. The catches that he had weren't like he blew by James Bradbury, that he worked really well with Julio. Julio just ran all over him last year. What a difference in today makes. Of course, we did see Julio. He did not look like, it looked like some points that he was just limping a little bit, but needless to say, he pretty much held his own against Julio. Sanu also was worth mentioning. He had 3 catches, 23 yards, 1 TD, and Tevin Coleman for them 1 catch, 19 yards, and that was, of course, a touchdown pass from Matt Ryan. Now, the Dirty Bird defense, we had Deion Jones, 11 tackles, 4 solo for him. Vic Beasley Jr. had 5 tackles. He had 4 of them were solo, a sack, and of course, 2 tackles for loss. And of course, Bryant, which was their kicker, which they early in the game, they decided to go for a 4th down because they were worried that Bryant wasn't going to be able to kick it. So he was 1 for 1 in field goals and 1 and 1 extra points. So that just shows us that how great our Panthers did today. The high points I would point out is the defense. Keep doing what you're doing. We even though we didn't get a ton of sacks today, or a ton of interceptions, it was great just being able to apply pressure and throw teams off. Yeah, Julio did get over 100 yards, but he shows you a quite a contrast of how he was last year against our Panthers compared to what he was this year, what he did in this game this year. So our defense was awesome. Julio Jones, like I said, was relatively quiet. They kept the defense was pretty good on him, even though he did get 100 yards, 6 catches, 100 yards. Also one of my key points in my preview video was that keeping the ground game grounded, and that we did, Panther Nation. Freeman was out. Coleman didn't do as much inside. We kept Freeman grounded. That's why he only got 59 total yards in the game for rushing. Our offense, and now we'll go to our offense. Our offense rushed the ball well, 201 yards rushing for our Panther Nation here. Even though Cam got 80-plus yards, and I didn't want to see Cam continue running, it looked like these were design runs, and offensive line did a decent in opening up some holes. Not what I was hoping to get, because anytime your quarterback is your leading rusher, that says something. That's what happened last year. But as well as we see that both Cam and Christian McCaffrey both got rushing touchdowns today. That was great to see. And despite a few overthrows Cam had with a couple times where McCaffrey was open, he didn't do too bad. He wasn't too as off target, because you expect he did go to Funchess a little bit earlier than later in the game. It was more of a slant, more of a West Coast style offense they did. There was a few times that they tried to go downfield. Cam overthrew them. But I thought for the most part Cam was better in the game today and managing it and getting the balls to where they needed to go. Of course, with Benjamin being traded, that was going to be the kind of worry, but I thought they did pretty decent. And whenever Olsen comes back, I know within around 3 weeks time, it's going to be great to see that. So I can't wait for Olsen to get back. So a little around 3 weeks, he should be back with the Panthers and give Cam once again another weapon and once again get that offense higher up, because our defense is what's carrying us these past few games. Kind of reminds me of the Baltimore teams, how their defense always carried their offense. But what a win! I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm glad that we got a win. Next week, I think if I'm not mistaken, we play the Miami Dolphins, and I think that's a Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken. So, great to see a win. Great for a Panther win. Get 6-3. I'm happy about it, Panther Nation. This was a division game. Very important that we get our division games and we basically win those. We're so far 2-1 in the division, so that's wonderful, and I'm glad to hear that. So I hope you, Panther Nation, enjoyed this video. If you do, drop a like on this video. Also, if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, whatever, feel free to drop them in the comment box, as I will read them and answer and reply if it so requires me to do so, or anything you might want to say. But if not, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get as many subscribers as I can. Like this video, share this video with others that are Panther fans that want to see, that don't mind seeing a recap and a previews of our beloved Panthers. And if you're a Panther fan, you'll definitely want to click on this video and share. Also subscribe to my channel. So get ready to head out here. Great to celebrate another Panther win. And until next time, Panther Nation, this is Bill Mack saying for the Panther Prowl, keep pounding.